Hello again, everybody. This is John and Glenn with BestPriceNutrition.com. Today, per your requests, we're going to be reviewing the Infinite Labs Juggernaut, the pre-workout powder. If you've seen a lot of our videos, we've pretty much gone through a lot of the ingredients in this category and products, so we'll run through them pretty quick. With Juggernaut, it's a 40-serving container. I believe it's available in 3 flavors. Is correct? 3 flavors?
Yeah, I think it's a punch, blue raspberry, and an orange.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't quote us on that. The calories, just right off the bat, there's 45 calories. It's pretty low. It's 8 grams of carbs and 3 grams of protein. So there are a little bit of some macronutrients in here. There's a little bit of a vitamin blend in here, vitamin C, E, B12. Not a ton of anything, but decent amount of vitamin C, 500 milligrams. I'm getting right into the guts of the product, the Juggernaut blend. They do use proprietary blends, but they separate them, so we get somewhat of an idea of how much of each is in there. The first blend is called the Creatine Transport Upregulating Complex. This is about 8 grams. It's got a glucose polymer in here, which is just a really fancy way of saying a blend of maltodextrin and waxy maize. And then cinnamon extract. The cinnamon's in there to help increase insulin sensitivity. Maltodextrin, high glycemic carbohydrate.
Sugar, carbs.
Yeah. They don't list it as a sugar because it is disaccharide, but it acts as a sugar in your body. It's got a glycemic index of like 100, so it's not much different than dextrose. And then waxy maize, it's kind of an umbrella term, so it's really hard to say if they don't give molecular weight of which one they're using.
You don't know if it's coming from corn or potatoes, but essentially, to give it a blanket idea of what it is, it's a very heavy or high molecular weight carb. The idea behind it is it's like taking a snowball and rolling it over leaves. It's going to pick up all those leaves. Well, waxy maize is like the snowball, and anything it's moving along with, it's going to pick up and pull into the cell. Again, there's only 7.8 grams, or let's say 8 grams of that inside here, and you don't know how much is fully waxy maize, so it's a very, very low amount.
Yeah, and the thing to consider with a lot of times carbs are in these products is just that mild insulin spike. It's actually a good thing because it helps deliver everything into your cells.
And it helps keep your body from using muscle mass as an energy source.
Yeah, it'll act on that mTOR pathway a little bit. Depending on how intense you're working out and what you've eaten leading up, there's a lot of other factors. But the next blend, they call it the what do we got here? Where am I at?
Hypertrophic,
yep.
myovascular expansion complex.
Lost my place. Sorry. It's 7.3 grams. It's got a whey complex, which is just whey protein isolate and whey protein hydrolysate. The free-form amino acid taurine, another trademark name. It's dicreatine malate, and then magnesium creatine chelate, and then glycerol. So it's a little blend. We don't know exactly how much creatine's in here. Whey being a macromolecule, so it's hard to say. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of those ingredients. The whey is in there, I assume, just for the amino acids, which is fine. Again, that'll help act on the mTOR pathway too. So if you take that pre-workout,
keep your body in a state of building muscle rather than breaking down muscle, which is what you want when you're working out. You don't want to be using muscle mass as an energy source. Then they add some creatine, and again, like John said, we don't know how much is in there, but creatine's in there to increase your natural energy supply or energy stores. Creatine just lends a phosphate group to natural occurring adenosine diphosphate to increase your ATP production.
Yeah, so you're recycling that energy. And then the glycerol, it's in some products. I think, what was the controlled labs product we covered?
Glycerol.
Yeah, Glycerol. We get a little more into that. You can check that out for some more details on glycerol. And the next blend here is the Intense Nitric Oxide Initiating Complex. Again, these are the trademark names. This is a 1.3 gram blend. This is citrulline, arginine. There's a couple forms of arginine in here. Actually, there's 3. And then norvaline, or norvaline, depending upon who you ask to pronounce it for you. Boy, if you've seen our videos on arginine-based products, there's all the research has kind of shown that any nitric oxide blend or boost you're going to get from arginine is going to be short-lived because your body's going to produce the enzyme arginase, which is going to break it down. It's just your body's way of coming back to homeostasis. And the addition of norvaline, I guess, makes sense in the sense that it's an arginase inhibitor, but I haven't really seen much in terms of those two together.
Yeah, and it's a relatively low dosage. They're saying 1,300 milligrams or 1.3
Yeah, that's pretty
grams.
low with those amino acids.
Yeah,
especially.
most times when you see arginine inside of a product, they're trying to put it at doses of around 3 to 5 grams. So this is a pretty low dosage, and there's also citrulline inside there too. So you may not get much of a pump from it just because it's such a low dose, and like John was saying, with the body trying to maintain homeostasis and the arginase that's being created.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, I'm not convinced even if you put 4 grams already, you're not going to get much of a pump anyway. So I mean, that's just the truth in terms of what we know at this time in terms of the research. So something may change with that, but the reality is if you've seen our other videos, if you've mentioned this, you'll see how we feel about most pre-workouts. It's really how the stimulants make you feel. It's the one time where we'll actually go to the criteria of how does it make you feel, because typically, we don't really care how you feel. It's what the research says. But with stimulants, you can actually take it and feel it right then and there and get a pretty good idea of what it's doing for you. And if you get that good buzz from it, it gives you a good workout, well then it's done its job and you're going to get pumped because you're going to work out more intense. So that's good. So we're not anti-pre-workouts. We just think you need to look at them from that scope. At least at this point, we're always open to having a blind spot, or hopefully some more research comes out that there is some ingredient out there that does in fact significantly increase nitric oxide. We're just really yet to see it. I don't know if you want to add to that or.
No, we pretty much covered it. I'm more of the idea that you're better off getting, if these products are going to give you that mental edge, then that's fine. That's their intended purpose.
Yeah, you work out harder, then hey, great, you found something that helps you work out harder, and that's all you can ask for. Next is the fatigue arrest complex, which is beta-alanine, alpha GPC is what it's commonly referred to as. I'll pronounce the whole word. It's alpha glycerol phosphorylcholine. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. So next is bacopa and vinpocetine. The bacopa, vinpocetine, you want to cover those real quick?
Yeah, bacopa is an herb that it's really good for mental focus. I've actually taken this by itself in the past, and really good when you need to study or when you really need to be in focus on something. Vinpocetine is there for the natural energy or the tunnel vision that you're looking for.
The same with the alpha GPC as well.
Alpha GPC, you'll see that in a lot of memory or cognitive enhancing products. It's really good at protecting the brain or protecting the memory.
And the other ingredient, beta-alanine, it's underdosed, because if there's 403 milligrams in that whole blend, that's not enough beta-alanine. You need at least 1.5 to 2 grams per serving is what you'd be looking for. That being said, beta-alanine is a very good ingredient. It's right up there with creatine in terms of lots and lots of peer-reviewed research that shows that it does work. What it's going to do is buffer lactic acid, so it's going to allow you to continue to do work during your workout and keep your lactic acid levels decreased. So it's definitely a very good ingredient. Next is an ORAC blast antioxidant complex. ORAC is a value system that's used to rate how well something neutralizes free radicals. So sometimes you're going to start to see that in products as far as what the ORAC value of it is. If you're looking at some of the superfoods, like the greens and fruits blends, that's where you can see that. This one specifically has acai and pomegranate powder in there. 55 milligrams, pretty low. Not sure how concentrated those are. It doesn't really tell much. So, but the nice thing about this is the next ingredient tells you how much caffeine's in there, 200 milligrams. So
you very rarely do you get
nice
the exact amount of caffeine, and that's per 1 scoop, 200 milligrams of caffeine.
That's a pretty good dose. So, if you're needing 2, then it's probably time to scale back on your caffeine usage a little bit to get yourself a little more sensitive to it, because you built up a little bit of a tolerance to caffeine. So, a good thing is to dial back for a few weeks. We always mention maybe just switch to just drinking green tea so you don't get any headaches, and then you can come back to your pre-workout. And with the pre-workouts, a lot of them, you don't have to take them every day. You can take them 2, 3, 4 times a week, and that'll help maybe stave off some of that tolerance you might build up to the stimulants. I don't know what your method is.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll hear of people taking multiple scoops of these type products. That just means that they have a very high tolerance for them. And it's not necessarily a good thing. It just means that 200 milligrams of caffeine is maybe 1.5 to 2 cups of coffee. So that's a pretty hefty dose in 1 scoop. Like John was saying, you really only need to take it maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Save it for your heavier workout days, and in other days, maybe some green tea or
yeah. And if you read the labels, they're always going to recommend that you take them on workout days. It's really just not necessary. If this becomes your sole source of creatine, I guess you could, but you'd actually probably save money just by buying yourself some creatine monohydrate and taking that daily as your source of creatine. Same thing with beta-alanine. It's interesting that 2 of the most proven ingredients are some of the cheapest, so go figure. But that's something you could do and use this on your workout days. So, overall, a lot of people like to ask, how does it compare to some of the other ones, like Jacked and 1MR and stuff like that. This is pretty strong. 200 milligrams of caffeine. So, again, it's one of those where you're going to have to go with how you feel when you take it. The feedback on it is pretty potent. People like it. So
yeah. There's not as much of the other stimulating ingredients that are in some of these other products. It doesn't have the geranium oil inside of it, but it's got a pretty hefty dose of caffeine, so you'll get a pretty good push from it.
So yeah. So if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to post them in the comment section of the video or on the blog. You could also find us at facebook.com/bestpricenutrition. Thank you.